Jillian Moore just watched, like someone waiting for a lie to finish writing itself. I knew right then she wasn't just standing still, one hand on the reins, the other holding rolled deeds, tight. Her boots stayed planted, right on the gravel line. The woman in the MAGA hat leaned forward, finger out, voice sharp. "This is private. You don't belong here." Camera blinked red on the pole above. No one stepped in, not yet. Jillian looked past the finger, past the hat, at the sweat sliding past the woman's temple. She didn't speak, didn't blink. She was counting, and the count had just begun. Jillian didn't move right away. She let the silence stretch, let it settle between her boots and the gravel. Then she walked. Not fast, not slow, just steady. The horse followed with a quiet snort, saddlebags shifting under the afternoon light. They passed the old wooden sign nailed to the fence post. "Private property, residents only." Underneath it, weathered wood still showed 4 rusted nail holes. A ghost of a nameplate once there. Jillian stopped. Her hand rose, rested flat against the faded wood. Not long. Just enough. Enough for memory to pass through skin. She didn't say anything. Didn't need to. The sun angled lower, and for a second, the old shadow returned. The one that used to fall across this gate when her father stood here. 46 years. He'd kept the land that long. She remembered the way he folded the maps, always creased the corners with his thumb, always tied them with red string, never let anyone borrow them. Now the deed was in her name. And the map, the original survey he sketched in pencil back in '67. It was still here, tucked under her arm, faint graphite lines. But the red waterline was clear, unmoved. The horse shifted its weight. She gripped the reins lightly. Inside the house, still empty, the air would smell like dust and pine. But not for long. She hadn't come back for nostalgia or closure. She came because no one else could hold this place right, not after him, and certainly not under her. Not under someone who thought a homeowner's badge could overwrite a birthright. Jillian had seen people like that before, too loud, too sure. They always missed the quiet ones. She slid her hand away from the wood, took one step forward. The rolled paper shifted slightly in her grasp, just enough to show the edge, a corner torn, a date visible. July 3rd, 1967, she noticed. So did no one else. Not yet. By morning, the sign had changed. The old wood was gone. In its place, a sheet of laminated plastic, clean, official looking. Jillian read the top line twice. Temporary suspension of shared access rights. Signed in bold, Chairwoman, HOA Committee. Underneath, a paragraph in tight legal language, dry, precise, almost like it had been copied and pasted. The reason? Outstanding community compliance fee. The number? $58,700. She didn't blink, not even when she saw how it was fastened. 4 industrial screws, drilled deep into the post, the one her father had built with his own hands. The wood had split around the 3rd screw, left a jagged crack like something silently giving way. Beneath it, in italicized print, compliance expected within 14 days or legal notice will be served. There was no contact number, no office address, but something else had been left behind, a red baseball cap, hung carefully on the top nail. Dust clung to the brim, the white embroidery still clear. MAGA. It wasn't lost, it was placed. Jillian stood in front of it for 7 full seconds. One hand on the reins, the other holding nothing now, just air. The wind picked up, the cap lifted, twisted, then fell. It landed beside her boot. She didn't flinch, didn't reach for it. She bent at the knees, removed the screws one by one, folded the paper down the middle, then again. The plastic bent stiffly. She tucked it into a manila folder, next to the map. Not to challenge it, not yet. To keep it, in order. Exact words, exact date, exact damage. The post still stood, but it leaned now, just slightly. She noticed. So would someone else. Eventually. Jillian didn't look back as she walked toward the cabin. The camera overhead caught every step. She knew that. She wanted that. Maybe you've felt that before. That quiet rage when someone rewrites the rules to push you out. I've stood there too, reading the fine print, knowing it's not right, but not yet the time to strike. If this story pulled something real from you, leave a trace below. And if you're the kind who waits for the right moment, stay with us. Jillian didn't call, she didn't email, she just changed the name of a file. FPRA 07, 18 subdivision, map revised. .pdf became FPRA 07, 18 subdivision, map original. Backup.pdf. She printed it, folded it, twice. No signature, no stamp. Only one small red mark in the lower left corner. Hand-drawn, her father's. 3 days later, another notice arrived. Same bold header, second warning, delinquent HOA fees. Amount due, $58,700. This time, it came with a photo, a grainy still pulled from a pole-mounted camera. Caption, unauthorized road usage captured. Jillian let out one breath through her nose. It wasn't a laugh, more like recognition. The signature at the bottom read, Linda M. Holbird, chairwoman. There it was, the name, the hand behind the screws. That afternoon, Jillian walked her horse to the outer trail toward the tennis courts. A tour group was passing. 5 new families, fresh from escrow. Linda led them in a lavender blazer, voice bright, arms moving. Jillian didn't speak, didn't make eye contact. She stopped at the community board, tucked the folded subdivision map behind the upcoming bake sale flyer, pinned it with a single black clip. Not secured, just visible. She turned and left. Linda's voice wavered for a beat, then recovered. One woman in the group slowed down. She stepped closer to the board, read the top corner. Her brows dipped. She whispered something to her husband. Another man took out his phone. Snap, zoom, gaze shifting. Linda didn't stop walking, but she saw it, saw all of it. She said nothing. Inside the folded map, in faded pencil lines, were water routes and easement boundaries untouched since 1973. They told a different story, a story where Jillian's property had legal access, long before the HOA even existed. Jillian had never redrawn that map, she'd preserved it. Because once land gets rewritten, it's not just dirt that disappears, it's memory and leverage. The camera overhead blinked again, frame by frame. It didn't catch her face, but it caught the map, being posted, in daylight, in public, and that's what mattered. Linda didn't know it yet, but something had shifted, not on the board, in the group, in the silence between their steps as they followed her back. And Jillian, she never looked back. Tuesday evening, 7:03 p.m., community room, HOA meeting. Linda stood at the front, clipboard in hand, blazer stiff, tone flat. We welcome new residents, always have, but full access requires completed title verification. Jillian Moore has yet to meet those conditions. No one spoke. Jillian didn't raise her hand, didn't look up. She just reached into her canvas folder, unrolled a red-tied document, laid it flat on the table in front of her. Didn't open it, didn't say a word. The room shifted, not loudly, just attention. A man near the back leaned forward, thin voice, slow memory. That red tie, I remember those. The old FPRA packet. Was your father Thomas Moore? Jillian nodded once, still silent. Linda's laugh broke the air, quick, sharp, nervous. We haven't used that format since 2011. Anyone holding onto it clearly hasn't updated their files. Pause. 2 seconds. Then the scrape of a chair. A woman stood up. Tidy hair, firm tone. She had signed the petition against Jillian 2 weeks ago. Linda, you told us that version was void, said it got replaced. She held up her phone, scrolled, stopped. But here, HOA records, you signed this exact version. In 2019. Her voice didn't rise, but it carried, eyes moved. A man coughed, someone else folded their arms. Jillian said nothing. She unfurled the document, neat columns, original notary seal, and Linda's signature, bottom right. Clause 7, Inheritance by direct bloodline exempts additional community access fees. Linda stepped forward fast, too fast. That clause, that document, it's out of circulation. Another voice interrupted, male, level, calm. Then maybe a lawyer should confirm that before any more notices go out. Silence again, but a different kind. This time, it wasn't Jillian's silence, it was Linda's. And in the corner, a small sound, a child's voice, soft, curious. "Mom, is that the daughter of Mr. Moore?" The mother nodded, didn't speak. Jillian glanced at them, 1 second, then back down. She began folding the document again. Slow, exact, like someone sealing a file. Not to argue, just to archive. The battle wasn't over, but the room had changed sides, and Jillian, she hadn't said a single word. 3 days later, Linda posted a message in the community group chat. Polite tone, sanitized language. But the threat sat just beneath the surface. For security reasons, gate access may be temporarily disabled for residents with incomplete HOA dues. That morning, the HOA's security camera caught Jillian at the gate, horse still, pickup truck idling behind her, horn blaring. Jillian didn't look back. She pulled out her phone. Dialed, recorded, just one sentence. Gate code unresponsive. I'm a registered heir under the FPRA, currently being denied access to federally documented property. She ended the call, put the phone back, waited. That night, 7:42 p.m., a hastily scheduled special meeting. Linda stood again, white blazer, clipboard, MAGA hat placed beside her, eyes steady. "We apologize for any inconvenience, but security protocols apply equally to all residents." A man stood up, middle-aged, quiet presence. But when he spoke, the room held its breath. "Excuse me, I've been authorized to speak today, on federal record." He held up a badge. Ronald Graves, retired federal officer, reinstated under HOA ethics compliance post-Florida case. Linda's smile faded, her eyes dropped, to the badge. The same emblem Jillian had placed on the table days ago. Ronald opened his laptop. The room dimmed. Footage from that morning filled the screen. Zoomed, enhanced. Jillian, still. Backlit by sunlight, horse quiet, hands holding the reins. The private property, residents only. Sign clearly visible overhead. Ronald's voice broke through. "The person denied access is a documented beneficiary of FPRA 2007. Her deed predates the revised HOA fee system. The party enforcing the gate lock failed to issue legal notice or provide a recorded board vote. Only internal email. That is not enforceable under federal or state statute." No one moved. Linda reached for her hat, then paused. Ronald's gaze held firm. The hat's not at fault, but whoever wears it should take a second look at the law they think protects them. Silence, then a soft scrape. Linda's chair pushed back. Her hand trembled. The red cap slipped, fell, landed face down on the tile. No sound, no rescue. Just Jillian, seated in the third row, watching, still holding that same folder, like nothing surprised her, because it didn't. The next morning, no meeting was called, no statement issued, no one knocked on any door, just the sound of hooves, slow, measured. Jillian walked the horse past the gate. This time, it opened. She didn't hurry, didn't look around, just crossed the gravel, steady as the wind. She stopped at the sign, the one that had started it all. Private property, residents only. It hung crooked. Dust clung to the edges like a bruise. She stepped closer, took it down, wiped the back, wiped the front, aligned the nails again, pressed it into place. Now it was straight. She didn't speak, didn't need to. In her hand, the red ribbon was loose now, just thread, barely holding shape. She tied it to the bridle, not like a trophy, more like a signal. Something had ended, something else had settled. Across the street, a kid paused mid-step, leash in hand, golden retriever sniffing at the sidewalk. He watched Jillian, watched her finish, then nodded, small, honest. Didn't say a word, didn't need to. Somewhere behind him, in the grass of a back lawn, a red cap still lay. MAGA embroidered across the front. Face down, untouched. No one walked over. No one picked it up. Jillian turned, touched the saddlebag once, where the old documents now rested, creased but complete, then climbed up. Not like a conqueror, like someone done counting. She didn't look back. The gate creaked, closed on its own. The wind shifted, and the house, her father's house, stood silent, still there, still hers. Not everyone fights to win. Some just want no one to touch what they've guarded too long. Some people raise their voice to prove a point. Others just raise a document. Jillian didn't argue. She adjusted a sign, she tied a ribbon. No one clapped, no one had to, because some victories don't echo, they settle, like dust, or old truths coming back into light. Her father once told her, "You don't own land, you just keep it steady." She remembered that. When everyone else was shaking the ground, that red cap stayed where it fell. No wind picked it up, no one missed it. But the line on the gravel, the one Jillian stood on the day she arrived, it's still there, clean, undisturbed. People walk past it now, softer, less certain. Maybe that's how justice should feel. Not loud, not final, just true enough to outlast noise. Because in the end, it's not always about defending what's yours. It's about reminding them quietly they never had the right to take it.